morning.
Morning, Eileen. How you doing?
Living my best life ever. How about you?
I'm wonderful. Beautiful day yesterday. A little toasty, but that's okay. This morning's nice and cool.
Yeah, I was thinking of you. Did you guys go to the beach this weekend?
No, she wanted to stay home and watch Rogue, so we stayed home watching.
Nice.
I would have loved to go down the beach and just sit on the porch and watch all the motorcycles, new cars drive by, but it didn't happen. Maybe next weekend. Next Monday, no show.
Next Monday, okay. Oh, Memorial Day.
Yep. How was your weekend? What did you do?
So Saturday we had that picture at City Hall with all the past and present, like, city councilors and a big picture there. Regina was there. And they broke it all out, so that was interesting. Then I'll send you a picture from the ones that I saw that were posted already, so you can check it out.
Okay, cool.
I had to take my mom to her cousin's funeral in St. Patrick's. I've never been there. It's a beautiful church.
Oh yeah, they just went, less than 10 years ago, they redid the whole inside all over. We got a guy by the name of Mahoney. Mr. Mahoney since passed away. The rumor is he gave a ton of money to the church and had it fixed up.
I wish they put an elevator in it, but...
Well, there's a ramp on one side.
Yeah, well, I parked on the complete opposite side.
Oh, you parked on the rectory side, not good.
Yeah.
You're park on the school side, there's a ramp, and which is better than nothing. Plus, it's one level up. But that's next time to get it right.
Yes. So Cliff had given me a call a little bit ago that I may have to start the show or take it over at some point because he's taking care of Martha.
Okay. I talked to Cliff last night. He didn't say nothing. So,
yeah, I heard her this morning when he called. It sounded needy. But I sent him the right link, so he should be on. But I think it's just something that might have started like this morning.
Okay, well, these things do crop up on a Monday. So I got no Mike, I got no Fru. Fru had a grandchild.
Oh, nice.
I think it's his first one.
Oh.
So I got a picture of that kiddo someplace.
Okay. Let me...
So I guess you might as well. Are you going to put your face up today or no?
Yeah, I will. Just give me 2 seconds, and I'll do something with my hair, and
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I'll be here. Yeah, it looks like Cliff is banging out.
No, he'll definitely be here, but
I responded to a text.
he's not going to be here at all. Oh.
No. I'm responding to one of our viewers saying that our conversation is going to deal with the music playing too.
Okay, all right. Hey, I got his agenda up. I forwarded you to the iCloud one. I forwarded it.
All right, well, look, I'll resend it. All right, thanks, Mike. That's a happy Monday. Put you on over here. All right, Eileen, you're on, kiddo.
Good morning, everybody.
Mike's just here too.
Oh, good morning, Mike. We'll say good morning. Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 18th, 2026. With me this morning, we have Mike Smith from Florida. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, John McDonough.
Good morning, Eileen.
I hope everyone had a beautiful weekend. It was beautiful outside and got some sun, got to get out walking and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, it was a beautiful weekend. I spent it in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. It was nice and toasty. We had a good time at home.
Yes, much warmer yesterday than Saturday, I think, because the heat kind of settled in a little bit, but it was beautiful.
How's things down in sunny Florida, Mike? Mike must be having audio issues. He's just banged out. He'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, I was telling John earlier we did the picture of all the past and the present city council, school committees, mayors, legislature, state reps. So it was pretty interesting. We did that on Saturday. I'm going to try to get you some pictures, John, so you can put those up.
I saw that. Eric, get you put it up on Facebook. I'll go after that in a minute.
Yes, he did.
Once we get Cliff in here, I'll play with that stuff.
Okay, let me start with Cliff's agenda so he'll be proud of me.
He's always proud of you.
Okay. The U.S. national debt is almost 39.24 trillion, 3.1 billion in interest every day, 3.01 billion in interest every day. Makes me feel better about my credit cards.
That's your credit card debt. Good girl. Hope they don't catch you.
3.01 billion interest every day on our national debt. Today there's going to be a low of 48 and a high of 53 with a 95% chance of rain. Here's one of Cliff's words, Ipsy Dixit, an unsupported assertion usually by a person of standing or a dictum. Okay, we can ask about that later. On this day in 1631 in Dorchester, Massachusetts, John Winthrop takes the oath of office and becomes the first governor of Massachusetts. Oh.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. I don't know what happened. I had to restart it again.
That's okay. You're looking good now. Eileen's in charge this morning. Cliff is trying to enter, but we're having a little difficulty with connectivity this morning.
Okay. All right. Well, I had it, so we're getting there. So
it's one of those happy Monday mornings.
So Eileen's doing history. Eileen's doing history right now.
Okay.
So
so
in 2000, no, you go back to the year 1, right, with Jesus. In the year 1, what happened?
Well, hold on, let me see. Did I just lose it? We're in 1631, which is pretty impressive. We're not in BC. We're just talking about the first governor of Massachusetts was John Winthrop from Dorchester, Mass. He took the oath of office to become the first governor of Mass. Okay. Dorchester, that's an interesting place. It's really pretty in some parts, not pretty in others.
Dorchester's nice. It's like back Central Street.
True. Yeah, I could see that. Anthony had a game there once, and he played at a beautiful park, but all I could think about is the corruption in Massachusetts. One place was named Morrissey something, and the place right next to it was Divine Skating Rink, I think, actually. And all I could think of is Michael Morrissey, the Norfolk DA, is corrupt, and then Robert Devine was involved with the Sandra Birchmore case, and they're both named buildings after people in Dorchester, Massachusetts. All right, let's see.
This last time I sent it to your one that has me and the one your iCloud.
In 1652, slavery in Rhode Island is abolished, although the law is not rigorously enforced.
Okay. Everything okay?
In 1783, the first United Empire Loyalist reached Parrtown, later called Smart, New Brunswick.
Oh, it takes like 5 minutes to come back up, so. All right. Well, when you come in, you come in. That's good. Thanks. Thank you. Cliff says he's got no internet.
Oh, no. Oh, that would explain.
He just rebooted his internet, so I told him it usually takes 5 minutes to go around the block and come back up again. When you reboot it. And rebooting means you unplug it for 15 seconds, plug it back in again, and you don't have internet for 5 minutes.
He'll get there.
Yes.
We'll all get together. Okay, in 1783, the first United Empire Loyalist reached Parrtown, called later St. John, New Brunswick. Okay. Canada, St. Bruns, New Brunswick, Canada, after leaving the United States. So it kind of divided the United States and Canada? Is that what happened?
Yeah, kind of. So.
Interesting. In 1860, the United States presidential election, Abraham Lincoln wins the Republican Party presidential nomination over William H. Seward, who later becomes the United States Secretary of State.
Little did he know that was a death sentence.
Yeah, and how many times did he run before he was finally elected?
I don't know. There's folklore about that. Mike, you remember?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure how many times he ran for president, but I know he had run for other offices and not got elected. He just kept going until he got elected. So.
Yeah, a little schoolhouse, and I know he lived in a very small, like a little shack, and he went only a short time to school, and he did very well for himself, I mean, until, of course, 1862.
A little known fact is that at one time he owned a bar, ran a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it called? Abe's?
That I don't know.
Interesting. All right. Let's see. In 1863, the American Civil War, Union forces under Ulysses S. Grant begin the siege of Vicksburg during the Vicksburg Campaign in order to take full control over the Mississippi River. Interesting. In 1896, we're getting close to this century. We can tell Cliff that whenever he joins. The United States Supreme Court rules Plessy versus Ferguson that the separate but equal doctrine is constitutional. Interesting. It still takes some time. In 1926, evangelist Amy Semple McPherson, you guys all know her, disappears in Venice, California. Do any of you really know her? She disappeared.
Was she a magician?
So to answer John's question, I looked it up. Lincoln ran for president twice, in 1860 and 1864, and was elected both times. It was when he ran for the U.S. Senate in 1854 and 1858 that he didn't win. So he had run for the Senate and not got elected, but he got elected president.
What a guy.
There you go. All right, in 1927, the Bath School disaster. 45 people, including many children, are killed by bombs planted by disgruntled school board members. Oh my God, that is horrific. I never heard of that. The Baths, 45 people, including many children, are killed by bombs planted by disgruntled school board members in Bath Township, Michigan. That's horrific.
Cliff's here.
Morning, Cliff.
Good morning.
Fru's here.
Where,
Fru's in here, but he's blurry, so I guess he's not ready yet.
we're at the Bath school disaster.
Yeah.
That's horrific.
Yeah. Can you trust your school board?
Not apparently back in 1927, but I mean, a couple of these, 1927, it shows the kind of crazy we still see today with people, school shootings and the craziness that's happening today. I didn't realize it even happened then by school committee people or school board members.
Yes, people are very passionate on education.
I guess so, Mike.
Yeah.
In 1953, Jacqueline Cochran becomes the first woman to break the sound barrier. Oh, thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you. 1980, Mount Helens erupts in Washington, United States, killing 57 people and causing $3 billion in damage. Wow. Now we're back to 1048 BC. In 1048, the birth of Omar Khayyam, a Persian mathematician, astronomer, and poet, died, and he died in 1131. And it's National Speech Pathologist Day in the United States. And in 13...
That's great out.
Cliff, this is all information nobody really cares about. Just let her get finished with it, please.
I think I'm done. Then.
Good.
And
Nice
go
job.
back to topics.
Nice job. Thank you, Eileen.
John, you've never heard of Omar Khayyam?
Cliff, nobody cares. I'm
I
just
can't
telling you, almost nobody cares then.
Almost
Mike,
nobody
let's
cares.
ask Mike. Mike, do you care about Omar Khayyam?
I know the name. I know who he is. I just haven't heard it in recent
Do you
times.
celebrate a birthday, or do you send him a Christmas card or any of that stuff?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Cliff, you're the host, so back over to you.
Yeah, but Omar Khayyam will exchange
Nobody cares, Cliff.
cards every year.
Nobody cares.
Oh, jeez.
Omar Khayyam, yeah. Okay, whoop-de-doo. Omar Khayyam.
So, one of our friends passed away over the weekend, Richard Tedesco. I think probably everyone knows that he passed away, but I want to just mention him. May he rest in peace. So,
Yeah, Rich, a good guy, and Monday Night Dinner Club member, and good man. We enjoyed many a good argument.
yes.
Oh no, I didn't realize he passed. Oh, I remember him. He had recently lost a lot of weight, correct?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Well, I'm all right. That's the last time I saw him was at the Olive Garden.
Sad day.
So, the president in China, how do we think it went?
Fantastic.
Well, according to Trump, it went fantastic, but as usual with dealing with China or Russia or some of those other countries, the devil's in the details. So, we know that they're committed to buying at least 200 Boeing aircraft, and the other company that makes engines, I think they're committed to them. but I haven't heard and soybeans. But they've done this before, the Chinese, and then they don't keep their agreement. I mean, with the latest one, agreement, they haven't bought all the soybeans and done some of the other agreements that they had done. They agreed to. So we'll see if they follow through or not.
Well, the amount of cheating that goes on our side is never discussed. Somebody's having some fun with the phone.
Not me. I'm not on a phone.
Not me.
There we go.
He's got
So,
it.
Fru, what do you think about the trip to China?
I side with Mike. You are dealing with China. That is a 1,000-year-old empire. I mean, we never keep promises. Do we think that Chinese will keep promises? It's a game of hide and seek. And when you are going with the Chinese, and mostly now that they are economically and militarily our rival, they don't have anything to fear. And in their own position, they are even at a very stronger position than we are, because the wars are draining our finances, and everyone knows that. They can say anything to please the president now, for him to come and say I made deals or whatever. But the Chinese are the Chinese. You can just see them. I mean,
you're right, Fru. They play the long game. It's not any different than even Iran. They play the long game because the leadership in those countries, first of all, it's not a democracy, and they don't go by the same rules that we have, and they know that we change our political affiliations every 2 years, the president every 4 years. So they just look at it, we'll just wait it out if we have to.
that's very true, Mike. And the one thing is, we Americans here, we think that our democracy should be applied all over the world as we have it. Many countries and many people have learned that American democracy and capitalism fits with America. You cannot export it anywhere. And many people, if you look, they are challenging the system now and challenging it and going by their own cultural and demographic institutions, and just saying that democracy has enriched, but the democracy is synonymous to capitalism and just a few. And these countries, you see, the BRICS country and all those, they are rebelling against the North style of democracy, that it is to make the North govern them, and they don't want it.
Yeah, I just want to add on to that, Fru, is you can't compare the United States to China because China's a homogeneous society.
Yes.
So their thought processes don't work the same way as we do. We have a multicultural, all kinds of different people living in the United States. So their new ideas and different ideas are the norm over here. In places like China, you follow. They have a lot, as you said, over 1,000 years they've been around. They are embedded with their way of thinking. And it's hard to get people to think, quote, out of the box in a society like China, because you're shunned if you don't look the same, if you're not thinking the same. I know through my brother teaching over there, if the professor in a classroom said that the sky was purple or green, he said that, nobody in the class would question him. Nobody would say anything. Hey, wait a minute, that's not right. We know it's blue. Because if you did that, they look at it as being disrespectful to the professor and not respecting him. So that's a hard thing to break. Japan's got the same issues. Even though they're a, quote, democracy, they still have the same issues. That's one of the great things about the United States because of the multiculturalism and different people. I mean, even Europe has the same issues if you want to look at it like China.
Well,
You
Mike,
go into France
let me ask you
or
this.
Italy.
Let me just ask you this question. Let's say that all teachers have a supervisor. How is this guy who says the sky is red, how does he answer to a supervisor?
Oh, in the United States, people would question.
No, in China, where your brother taught.
Oh, well, then they would just say, okay. You know, they're not going to argue with them. The authority in on a place like China, they don't question authority the same way we would here. They just don't do that.
Interesting.
But in Mike's point, which I totally agree, but I also will differ in the sense that the China of the old is not the China of today. They learn very well. They have assimilated Marxism, communism, and capitalism to suit them very well. The educational system that we know that we are talking about now is not the same educational system that's currently going on in China. Because if you look at the development, the infrastructure of China, it shows that China has changed. And I'm reading a book now, I think anyone can, The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. He's an American author who he has authored a lot of book economics. If you read this, he described China from 2000 right up to now and compare it with the US. And you will really see that China is on the ascending point of empire, while we have reached the tip and are on the descending.
Yeah, this fills in with what I talked on previous podcasts, Fru. If you look at history, you look at the Greeks, the Romans, the British Empire. There's about a 500-year cycle.
Yes.
And unless you make big changes, you're going to go up and then you're going to come down.
Cliff, you got to get rid of one of these broadcasts. There's an echo in the system.
I know.
Okay, please proceed.
I thought that was interesting, speaking of all this, that President Z mentioned the Thucydides trap. Has anybody ever heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I don't really understand what it means.
Well, see, what President Z did, he called Cliff and he said, Cliff, what's a word nobody's ever heard of? And Cliff gave him that word.
Nobody has ever heard?
Again, what was that, Cliff, that you were saying? I'm trying to see if I know what it is.
Thucydides trap. Thucydides is a fella about 2,300 years ago wrote a book.
Oh, yeah. I went to school with him.
Called the Peloponnesian War. And about 10 years ago, down at Harvard, Graham Allison and a bunch of other people put together a study and looked at something like 18 or 19 cases of a strong nation and a rising nation and how they came into conflict. In the Peloponnesian War, it was Sparta against Athens. They had just beaten the Persians, and then they fell on each other. England versus Germany, there's all sorts of examples. In the study, they had 4 nations that worked it out, and all the others went to war eventually.
Okay, so when Z used this word, what do you think Z meant by it?
I think that he meant that China and the United States needed to be careful not to fall into a war of rivalry between an established power and a rising power.
Do you trust the Chinese?
If
It's a yes or no, Cliff. Oh, no, you can say I don't know, and then I'll move on to everybody else. Do you trust the Chinese government?
within margins, yeah.
Was
No,
that a
I don't
yes?
trust them because they have their agenda and they have patience. That's the difference. In the U.S. with democracy, things change. People are not patient here. Over there, because they have that homogeneous society, they all tend to go along the same lines, which can be a big an Achilles heel for them, where we have different ranges of thought, so we can think differently. They can be trapped into a certain way of thinking and not change fast enough.
Okay, I'm going to ask Fru next, then I'll ask Eileen. Fru, China, do you trust them or you don't, the government?
There is no reason not to trust China. China is like what they can say that what an old man can see sitting down, a young man cannot see standing on the empire tree. The U.S. is just a young nation. Okay, it's very, very difficult to trust the U.S. because treaties that we have made with Libya, they ditch their nuclear ambitions with Iraq. We never hold any treaties. We never do anything. How do you think that China can trust us? China learned
That's not the question. The question is, do you trust China? And I get the answer from you is yes. I'm going to move on to Eileen unless you want to say something else.
Well, I don't trust either of us, the China or us. I don't trust. We are never, we change like chameleon.
Okay, so you don't trust China either?
Yes.
Just don't want to put words in your mouth. So Eileen, do you trust China or you don't?
Absolutely, especially if they're listening to this podcast.
Okay, so since China killed millions of its own people, they starved them to death so they could rob them of the crops they were going to eat and sell those crops to Russia to buy farming equipment. I lost all faith in China. Back over to Cliff. I don't trust China.
So, I thought it was interesting that Z took a Western expression, of Western historic event, and used it to say we need to work on having a peaceful coming together of two big powers.
Well, but historically, Cliff, he has all reasons to do that. When you look, the empires, look at the Austro-Prussian Empire, they ruled when, and then look at the Napoleonic Wars. Europe was ruled by the Bourbon and the Habsburg family. So this empire rose, they came down, and when they are at their descending point, that's when they start wars. And when they start fighting those wars will drain their economy. And when they are drained to a certain point now, they will want more wars. And that is the point where the ascending power will just be quiet. And if you wage war with the ascending power, that's really the last straw. Like I said, if you read this book, The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio, he explains everything.
Well, I'm going to have to put that on my list.
So, Fru, the baby, his name is Kizavi?
Kizavi Nkimbeng, that's blessing. That's what it means.
I'm going to try to put his picture up so the audience can see. So that's Cliff's brand spanking new grandson. Does he live in Texas?
Dallas, Texas.
So does he get a cowboy hat? When does he get his first cowboy hat?
When he starts crying and creeping.
Beautiful baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay. So, Fru, since John just dealt with item 3, I have a sense that there's not an unsubstantial Cameroon immigrant group in our area. I saw where Amanda Atang is putting a party for a Embu Youth Culture Association Foundation. I think it's at the end of the month. Are you aware of this?
Cliff, I'm hearing it from you.
Oh, okay.
You know, this younger generation, we have laid the foundation and made it possible, but sometimes the youth do things they don't consider the old. But I still have to find out now that you talk. I know Amanda very well. I know Amanda is a young. She's like a daughter to me. I know her very well. Very, very active.
So, how, I'm not including Francophone Cameroon, but in Anglophone Cameroon, do you think of that as a high trust society or a low trust society?
Could you explain that, please?
A high trust society is one where people, their word is their bond. Stores have open shelves. A low trust society is one where drugstores lock everything up because there's pilfering and you can't count on someone's word to be their bond.
Kind of like Lowell.
No, the first one is what we are, because I mean we were taught in schools to work together, be very receptive and accommodative, and also be community oriented, and that is why from those from the English side, when they come here, they have ex-students association, all these groups. So those association brings us together. So that is to share the commonality and also to be able to easily integrate well with those who, with our those who accept us and those who welcome us. So that's true.
So you think that you've immigrated into a relatively high trust society here?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So Mike, how did you see it in Western New York and Canada? Are they high trust societies or not?
You're talking about with Western New York people trusting people in Canada?
No, trusting people in Western New York, and the same for Canada. Are Canadians a high trust society?
Well, Canada, yeah, I think Canada's high trust more than the United States. I mean, people in Canada are fairly friendly. Of course, now with Trump's administration coming in and the tariffs and that, a lot of people in Canada, their attitudes have changed as far as the United States goes. Now, trusting each other inside of Canada, I think they still trust each other. Western New York, your friends in that you trust. Other people that you don't know, I don't know how much people would trust that.
Yeah. So, you have any thoughts on this, Eileen?
Sorry, no, I'm 13-year-olding it right now, trying to wake my lovely child up. So I do not have thoughts. I'm a blank slate.
Okay. So, we'll move on to, I wanted to go into something, there's a professor out of the University of Miami Law School, and she wants us to consider making cultural appropriation illegal.
Tell me what you mean by cultural. What was the second word?
Acculturation.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't get out of the 8th grade. So, what are you talking about, Cliff? And then I have a text I gotta read.
Cultural appropriation is when one group of people adopts something that is distinctively with another group. And one of the examples in the article I read was Kim Kardashian came out with a new fashion line and named it Kimono, which sort of harkens to Japan, where kimono is a form of dress. And so, do you worry about cultural appropriation? Are we, if we're eating tacos, are we taking from someone else's culture? Once upon a time, I owned a Jeep Cherokee. It was a great car. My daughter managed to roll it up in Alaska, and nobody was hurt. Some soldiers that were walking by, they righted it, and she drove it home. So, but is it, some would say it's cultural appropriation to name it Cherokee after the Indian tribe. Is this a problem?
I'm gonna read this text. Good morning. Does anyone trust anyone in society anymore? Politicians lie, courts lie, teachers lie. That's from Jay, Mr. Sunshine.
Well, if I can try that a little bit, Cliff, I don't think it's right because everything capitalist is about money. They use this cultural edifice for money purposes and to desecrate them. They don't even know the history. They don't even know the symbolism. Do you remember the Redskin? Name of the football, this thing that the native Indians did not like it. So that goes along to they have been Japan is standing up because it is a Western power. They have used so many African artifacts and everything to make money. Everything is about money. Then they ask these people who are using all these names, do you know the culture? Do you know what it means? Or you are just looking at labels to see that it's going, you are thinking but about money. You don't think of those people. That culture is an institution that describes the land, the people, their behaviors and everything.
On the other hand, we're such a amalgam of people. If we don't borrow from here and there, what do we have? Anything?
Well, it's good to borrow, but the thing that pushes us is money. You can borrow it with respect, in terms of respect, but when they do that, some of it, they are the very people who will look down on these institutions, on these areas. But when it doesn't satisfy their monetary appetite, you see, they will say they are primitive, they are this and that. I've heard that many times on this show as well. We don't equally respect other people who are different from us, who have different cultures, unless for benefit purposes.
Mike?
Well, I mean, as far as the benefits Fru was talking about, I mean, people want to get better, so they're going to be looking at what's good for them. I mean, I tend to agree somewhat with Fru what he's saying, so that's what I'm going to say on that.
John?
I have no thoughts on this channel.
Okay. So, it's,
Because lying's okay. Like Jay said, no matter what happens, you can just lie your way out of it. How many people in the United States of America went to jail for perjury in court over the last 10 years? And I'll bet you the number is 0. Since lying's okay, if lying's okay, how can you trust anything?
you educate yourself.
And so if you're reading lies, you educate yourself with lies.
That's true.
Well,
You mentioned Kim Kardashian. If you were to bring her on the show to tell
She just left. Kim was here for coffee this morning. Kim Kardashian. She loves our coffee.
if you bring her to ask her what is the origin of that word, what is the symbolism, what does it mean? No, she doesn't care to look about it. So, and then if you look at it, the people that word describe them, that it means a lot to them. It's offensive just to put it out there because you want to use them for money.
well,
A comment from the audience. Sorry, forgot a big lie, the media. Good point.
yeah. So, coming more local, there was a headline in the Lowell Sun about the new city budget. They're going to cut 50 slots from next year's budget, and they're also going to allow 31 additional slots to go away through attrition. That seemed like a pretty big chunk of out of city government. Police, fire. Did anybody else see that article?
Cliff, I've heard about it from different politicians. Different people in the audience have communicated with me about it. And the firemen and the policemen are going to put up a rage at the city council meeting, which should be interesting to watch. The firemen have got a big thing going, and I'll try to find that, put on the screen for people to see. And I think it's disgusting how this fat cat city manager can get rid of firemen that saved lives last week. And what's he doing with his administration? This guy is terrible. He has forgotten that Lowell is a poor city. The average salary in Lowell, I remember, is $45,000. And this guy doesn't care. He's like the sheriff of Nottingham. I don't care that you're poor. Give me your money. Don't feed your kids. Give me your money. This guy is a scoundrel and should be fired. Meaning Manager Golden.
Well, also he's looking at a boost on the property tax. I don't know. What? 4.6% boost on property tax, 15% boost on the sewer rate, and a 5% increase in the water rate. So he's not only cutting, but to make the budget, he's also increasing taxes.
As I said, we should get rid of the guy. He's a poor manager, doesn't know how to control costs, and he's forgotten that Lowell is a poor city.
Well, how would you control cost if not by laying people off?
I'd keep the salaries at a level that we can afford to pay.
Yeah, and if he cared so much, why doesn't he just sacrifice his own salary? You know what I mean? Like, you're raising taxes, now you're reducing first responders. So now you have angry people who are probably going to if they're in a precarious situation, not survive quicker. And it's sad, actually.
Well, yeah, if John is right about average salaries, he could take $100,000 pay cut and save 2 jobs.
Yeah, or take a pay cut, something. But there needs to be certain amounts of money for certain people, and everyone else suffers. Like, obviously, it's not working.
No.
I got this comment from the audience, and it says, Channel 4, I'll blow it up a little bit so you can see it at home a little bit better. Come on, you're supposed to blow up when I do that. There you go. Okay, whoop, way too big. Channel 4 did a story over the weekend about the fires on Bridge Street. When asked, the city manager did not return their calls. To your point, comrade. Back to you, Cliff.
Is this locally a sign of what is coming on nationally about recession? That is going to be very, very painful because many people are already scratching and they will be losing their jobs. And like Eileen said, I would have thought that instead of those who are controlling the budget and have good jobs should be able to lower their own pay so as also to share in the pain. We are raising taxes, we are raising this to others, and then we are not doing anything for ourselves to also know that it pinches us too, so that those who are suffering said it is the administration thinks of everybody. I think that's not fair.
Yeah. So, well, I don't think I have a solution just yet, but salaries are a big factor. And then there's the things like retirement and providing the tools for people to use.
I hope this should not take Lowell back into the 90s, because it's going to create unemployment. Businesses will be down, and when spending is not up, so that can, and if the responders are not there to provide the services that people need, it can only get worse.
Yep. Well, how do we leave the war in Iran going? I saw something, headline.
Did we fix Lowell already? That was quick, thanks.
You're welcome.
Lowell's all fixed now. Isn't that amazing? Cliff, what would you do to fix Lowell?
I would work on bringing business back to downtown, which means I'd have to deal with the homeless issue. And
But that takes money, Cliff. Where would you get the money?
well, there's money out there from the state and the federal government to deal with homelessness. What it really takes is dealing with mental illness and drug addiction, and also it has to do with the idea that people have a responsibility to get a job and work. I think there's a lot of people in Lowell who think it's okay to drift along off the dime of the people that are actually working, and that is not helping us.
Jay agrees with you. A functioning downtown would help instead of businesses moving out.
Yep. But we have to make it attractive. It's easy for me, if I want something, to go to Amazon and I'll have it the next day. So if I don't need it right now, if I can wait a day, the easy way is to contact Amazon and have it delivered. Do you use Amazon much, Mike?
Oh yeah, I use it. I use Amazon. I use other stuff online. Yep, I got some orders coming in this week from Amazon. I had to order.
Like, do you go to downtown Florida to go shopping?
No, I mean, if I really need something that I know I'm not gonna, I don't need to go to the store for, I'll order it online if I can. I mean, we have a couple shopping malls within 10, 15 minutes, of where we live, that we can go find stuff. But, I don't go to the shopping malls that often anymore.
Usually you buy it right off the screen.
Yep, if I can find it there and get it delivered with, with minimal shipping or no shipping, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Amazon, basically, if you have Prime, you can order anything. And if you don't have Prime, as long as you order, most of the time you order something $35 or more, you get free shipping. So, yep. And as long as I don't need it that day, or the next day.
Fru, you and your wife, do you use Amazon or do you go to the mall?
Well, Cliff, we'll go the easy way. When Home Depot was coming, all the little hardware stores along the neighborhood were gone. When Amazon came, everything was out there in the cloud. No more high neighborhood stores and storage. So everyone wants the easy way. Like Mike said, Amazon is doing a wonderful job. Their delivery, it saves you time in winter, during the bad weather or so. You sit in the house, you get your package delivered to you.
Eileen, you use Amazon? Eileen, maybe.
Yes, I use Amazon. It's convenient and has things you would never think you could find that you can find there.
How about for food? Do you ever order food online?
I did that once because you can order food through Whole Foods on there. I'm sure, and that was many years ago. I think there's even more now.
Yeah. I think Hannaford's delivers. You can call them, have them deliver.
I think there's a uptick in price if they deliver.
Speaking of that, I saw an article that apparently some stores adjust the price based on who they think you are. If they think you're a little more hoity-toity, they up the price because they think you can pay for it. Anybody else seen anything like that?
Happens all the time, Cliff. Go into a car dealership. I'm going to read this text and we're going to go to Fru. Unfortunately, the elected officials in the city for decades have ignored the downtown. If they were serious about it, they wouldn't increase parking when there is a function in the city. Good point. So, Fru, you had a comment you want to make?
No, I was just saying that the software is so smart that it follows your profile and your shopping taste to be able to put you in a certain category.
You're right, Fru. Let's talk about roller skates. And for the rest of the day on your computer, you're going to have a roller skate ad.
Okay. So we're getting down towards the end. Fru, do you have anything to wrap it up?
Well, I just want to say that Dawn Patrol Show is the show that takes us around the world and visit places that we've never visited and then come back to Lowell and settle in Lowell and open our minds to be able to see the problems that we are facing every day, how we can solve them. Always watch Dawn Patrol Show if you want to get the best, the fair and balanced news.
I got the baby back up on the screen. I know you can't see it, Fru, but beautiful kiddo. Congratulations, and you got to get him a cowboy hat, maybe some cowboy boots.
Thank you very much, Mike. Have a good week, and
you too. Oh, what? No, I don't think there's a podcast next Monday, right?
No show next Monday. It's a holiday.
Happy holiday.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Fru.
Oh, we got a minute and a half. I thought we were 59 minutes. Seconds.
Hey, I'm enjoying the break. In fact, I'm going to get up and get a soda.
Okay.
Mike, is Kathy to home or is she on the road?
No, she's here. She's just getting over a cold from this week. So, yeah, we got to put her on some antibiotics, but she's doing better now.
Whenever you're ready, Cliff. Whenever you're ready, Cliff.
I'm ready.
You're on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. My co-host is Eileen Delrossi. And we have Mike Smith down in Florida. How is the weather down there in Florida, Mike?
Hot and muggy. It's I did Saturday a soccer tournament. When I got in my car after the tournament was over, it was 93. So it's it's getting warm down here. So it's we had some good rain last night too. We needed it.
So you don't have any escape, do you? You're there 12 months out of the year.
Yeah. Well, you get used to it. I mean, I have a soccer tournament coming up this Memorial Day weekend, so I go out and walk like 10 or 11 in the morning when it's hot, just to make sure I'm used to the hot weather, because it's going to be close to 90 all this weekend on Memorial Day. So it's just, yeah, I mean, you acclimate to it after a while. It's the temperature doesn't bother me. It's more the humidity when it gets really high with the humidity. I know the humidity definitely affects Kathy more than anything else, but you just, you make sure you get plenty of liquids, watch how long you're outside, and, you adjust. I mean, people have been living down here for hundreds of years, so it's, people live in the desert, people live all over the place where it's hot weather. You just adjust.
I lived there for a year. I lived in Clearwater for a year and survived. I also lived in Tampa for 6 months.
Yeah, the good thing about Clearwater is you get a breeze down there off the ocean. We tend to get some of that too here in Largo. So that's the good thing. You get a nice breeze. Like when I was up near Tampa on Saturday, there was a breeze all day. So that made it a lot easier.
Yep. So, Mike, I see that New York City Mayor Mahoney has come up with a budget. He got a little help from Governor Kathy Hochul. Do you have any thoughts on how that's going?
Yeah, Mondami's more of an idiot than I thought he was. So he's just, he's doubling down. The people who are going to pay are people that are middle income, because the people who have money, they'll just move. They don't need to stay in New York. I mean, he's so stupid that I don't think they realize that they can move the stock exchange next week if they really wanted to. That stock exchange, the New York Stock Exchange and all the other stuff, they don't need to be in New York. They can move to Florida, buy a new building, and work from there, because it's all digital. So it's just, I mean, I don't know where he thinks the money's going to come from, but he's just, they're already billions of dollars in debt, and his idea is just to tax the rich people more. And I know New York State and the legislation, they're trying to pass something where they're going to tax people who own properties over $1 million or whatever. They're going to add another tax on. So you're just going to see more and more people moving out of New York, because it's not going to be affordable. It's just they have no clue on how to manage anything. They really don't.
So Lowell's problems pale in comparison to New York City. I mean, Kathy Hochul kicked in $4 billion. That's not pocket change.
Yeah, well, you know where she's getting that $4 billion from? From where I used to live, Western New York, Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, Albany, all those areas. All those people are going to be kicking in more to cover New York City. For years and years, they had talked about making New York City a separate state or splitting New York. I really think in the long run that Western New York would be much better off being its own state, because New York City is just a huge drain on the rest of the people in the state. And he promised everything, like the governor who's in Virginia now. And now he's got reality hitting him smack in the face. And he's just like, well, I'll just go to the rich people and get more money out of them. It doesn't work that way. The reason people made money is because they're not stupid. They understand how to manage money in that. And, and Mondami, he doesn't come from a poor family either. So, it's just such hypocrisy that they talk about the rich people, and they're part of the rich too. They just don't want anybody to know it.
They throw out a lot of phrases. I'm not sure they know what they mean. Like our senior senator here in Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren, keeps talking about the rich paying their fair share, but she has been unable to define what fair share is. What does she mean by fair share? Does she know? Is it just a catchphrase for her? I think so. I think she is clueless. What's the top 1% pay 40-some% of the income tax? Maybe they're paying too much. Maybe their fair share is less than they're paying. I don't know.
It's just crazy on what they're trying to get out of people. It's just, I don't understand it at all. It's just You can only get so much money, and there's people already moving out of New York. They've already done it, and it's not just their money for their taxes. The one guy he's been going after when he did the ad is that he was looking to put a project into New York City that would create a number of jobs and pour more income into the city. So if he decides to just leave, not do that project and do a different project in Florida, all that money and those jobs, they're done. So he's making the problem worse by what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to send him to school and understand an economics or financial course, because he really doesn't understand it. Or he may understand it, but he's not willing to do it because his far left-wing supporters wouldn't tolerate it. They'd go ballistic if he tried to do things that made sense.
It reminds me of AOC saying, "Oh, we don't want an Amazon distribution center in New York City." That just
How many jobs did that cost and income for the city? Billions of dollars, not millions, but billions.
What do you guys think the Long Island Railroad strike's going to do to New York City's economy?
Well, I guess they're getting the federal mediators in on it now. That's what I saw in the news last night. I saw a little bit about that, John. But because it'll affect New York City, not economically so much, but it affects all those people who take that into New York City to work there. Because Long Island is just like a huge suburb outside New York City. So it'll affect people on getting to work in that, but they may have to drive in, take a bus in. I don't know what else they can do to get in there, but it'll affect people coming to work in New York City. But nowadays, with so many things you can do remotely, they may just people may just work remotely, and unless you're like living in Long Island, you're a fireman in New York City, doesn't affect you the same way. The unions, they have their pros and cons, but I don't think they realize that things have changed, and they can't just throw tantrums. There's going to have to be more give and take if they're going to stay intact, because unions are not supported in the United States like they used to be, with all the people who work from home, independent contractors, all the other stuff. It's just not the same as it used to be.
this is going to have an indirect effect on part of the economy. You take the train, you stop by some bagel shop and buy a bagel and a coffee. But if you're driving, maybe you just go to the parking lot and right to the office. You don't buy a bagel and a coffee.
Yeah, it's always the small businesses who suffer from this kind of stuff.
We've all been in New York City. There's not enough room for those cars that are going to be motoring into the city today. There's not enough room for them.
And the cost of parking. I mean, I haven't been to New York City in probably, 6-7 years at least. And I remember people were paying $1,000 a month to rent parking spots and parking garages, to have their spot. $1,000 a month. So you can only imagine what it costs to even find the parking, like John said. There's not enough spaces. So they're not going to drive in. They'll work remotely. A lot of people, that go to New York City, they can work remotely if they have to. And things have changed. So I think that this strike with the Long Island Railroad union, it's not going to work out the way they think. And it's going to affect, people from all over, like Cliff said, with small businesses. Because all those people who take the railroad into New York City, they usually buy lunch there. They'll get, like you said, coffee and bagels, maybe dinner because of business-wise. Now all that stuff's not going to happen. And it's going to be the small businesses affected.
Yep, not good. Well, I did want to bring up, especially John. Are you contributing to President Biden's presidential library project?
Yes, I'm mailing them off a bonus roll of Scott toilet paper. It's 1,100 sheets.
Oh, that'll be good because they now have a 13-member board directing the program, so they need all that toilet paper. Anyway, it's time to pony up for Joe Biden. I had a discussion.
Cliff, I just want to blast through these texts. I know you can't see them, but I got them on the screen. Another ridiculous thing: Senator Sanders has an independent. What a joke. Okay, that's from Jay. Moving right along, taxing millionaires is and always been a foolish campaign slogan. Yeah, because they move away. Back in the day, you would go to the Sun Building and pay your paper route, and it was left over. Anything left over would be spent in the stores. So now the paper's gone. Had an effect. Unfortunately, the elected officials in the city for decades have ignored downtown. Oh, that's an old one. Okay, back to you, Cliff. Thanks.
Okay, so I saw where there was a shooter down in D.C. He killed 2 people who worked at the Israeli embassy. He shot them near the Holocaust Museum, actually. And Janine Pirro has now come and asked for the death penalty for this guy for shooting these 2 young people just starting out in life. I mean, I'm against the death penalty, but seeing how the justice system works now, I might be moved to support the death penalty for this guy. You got any thoughts on this, Mike?
I don't have a problem with her going for the death penalty. I really don't. I mean, I understand in some cases they've found that people were innocent. I mean, you want to minimize that as much. And the other thing is people have to realize the death penalty is not like in Iran. You get convicted of the death penalty in the morning and they execute you in the afternoon. So here, this guy could be on death row for another 10 years after he gets the death penalty and have appeals and all the other expenses that go in with it. So, it's not the death penalty where it happens right away. And in 10 years, who knows, the state or DC could change things, but this is federal, so the federal laws could be changed. But I don't have a problem with going after the death penalty for basically executing those 2 Israeli representatives there. So, I mean, it was murder, planned, cold-blooded to do it. Those kind of people have to pay for it.
Eileen, you got any thoughts on this? John?
Yes, I do. Kill him. I got today is Monday, May 18th, and they have turkey with rice over at the senior center for lunch. The Lowell firefighters have put this out. Not the Lowell fire, I think the union has. They saved us, now we save them. Pack Lowell City Hall, May 26th, and our firefighters run towards danger for us. Now it's time for you to stand up for them. So be proud, be loud, be there. Tuesday, May 26th, Pack City Hall. So get down there and rally for the firefighters. Good crew people, they're only in business to save your life. Back over to you, Cliff.
That should be a very spicy meeting because, I mean, it's so true. Why aren't they cutting more administrative positions? Lowell Public didn't. I mean, they did everything they could to keep administrative positions, and they're letting the teachers go on the front line, so, or the paras too, and it's almost equivalent. It's like, let's pay the most to the people on the top, and the people who actually do the work, screw them, they don't really matter, you know? They can figure it out. It's more important for us to have our salary. It just, I don't get it.
Well, you know, the school department, it's a great job except for those pesky kids.
Yeah. I think back to when I was in elementary school. I don't think I knew anybody who was an administrator. It was all teachers.
Yeah, they have the power. They have the power to. I mean, look at this ARC program, the reading program that one of the assistant superintendents recommended for the district. No teachers were involved, and it's falling short on the hands of our children. So the administrators have the money to spend the permission to spend the big federal grant money, but they're not even doing the right thing with it. And it's just, I don't know. I'm speechless.
Did you see where we fell out of first place amongst the states in education? We're down to third place.
Oh, no. Is that the unions not pushing excellence out the door again? That's going to be the downfall of the unions. The unions, it's more important that they get you a job than push excellence out the door. They should go hand in hand. The unions have stopped pushing excellence out the door.
I'm confused, John. Do the unions run your operation at the funeral home?
No.
So they're not responsible for pushing excellence out the door?
The unions are not pushing excellence out the door. They're forcing their teachers to promote children who are failing the grade.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame, I mean...
Who would you blame, Cliff?
Number one, most disfavored person in the United States is Randy Weingartner, the head of the teachers union, but it's the job of the administrators to push excellence out the door, not the union.
No, Cliff, who signs your report card?
The teacher.
Okay, so your teacher says, Cliff, you're promoted, but you didn't go to school all year. Cliff, you're promoted, but I can't read. Cliff, you're promoted.
But that's on the administrator. That's not on the union.
That's the teacher should not promote Cliff.
But that's on the school board.
That's what you're saying, Cliff. It's not true.
It is what I'm saying.
No, Cliff.
What you're saying makes no sense.
We use a big organization like Lowell General Hospital. We use them, okay? So, John Smith croaks. The doctor doesn't want to send the death certificate. The doctor doesn't have to. I'm not going to sign. Administration will call the doctor. Hey, you were the doctor. You got to sign. No, Larry was the doctor. And they'll go after Larry to sign. But hospitals, they can't make a doctor sign a death certificate. And teachers promote those children. And who makes them do that? Who can make...
I heard an expression a long time ago. That is a limping analogy.
Cliff, you're entitled to... Okay, Cliff, you're a retired fighter pilot. Administration says... Go fly that plane that has a flat tire. Go and fly that plane. Take off immediately, right this instant. What do, Cliff?
Are there enemy bombers inbound?
Yes.
Try and get that sucker into the air?
Are you, with a flat tire, are you going to be able to do that?
I doubt it.
So you're going to hop in and take off anyway?
Enemy airplanes in the air? Yeah.
We both know you're a fool if you do.
Yeah.
Making the firemen drive fire trucks with the wheels falling off? The union fell down on their duty.
So did the managers.
The individual decided to go along to get along. And it's up to the individual teacher to fail the child and let administration deal with it. And have the union protect their position.
So, Mike, when you were working at Kodak, did the union run the operation, or did Kodak run the operation?
Non-union company.
Ah.
So we did. There was I'm trying to remember. They had some unions at Kodak, but very, very few. I forgot which ones it was for, but very small group. So no, it was a non-union company. So, so there's pros and cons to all that. With a union, you've got people who negotiate a contract, benefits, other things like that. Kodak, when I first started there, offered just as good benefits as any union. That's one of the reasons they were never a union, because they offered good benefits and good pay for people. But obviously, when the company started going down, there was not as good as pay and all that. But even if you had a union there when the company's going down, you're not going to get stuff going better. I mean, and then, if we had a union there, people with the most seniority would keep their jobs, where people who maybe were doing a really good job that had less seniority, they would lose their jobs. So, unions have their time and place at different things, but, when I look at the federal government, I think that it's bloated way too much because of unions. Teachers' unions, look at what they're doing with the money they get politically. Same thing with some of the federal unions. And or I could even go down the road with tenured professors. I'm a firm person against tenure for professors at colleges, because I don't think that serves the best interest for the colleges and the students. And we can see some of the results of what's been happening. But, federal unions, I think they had their place in time, but I just think it's bloated the federal government. When Doge came through, they found a lot of stuff that was going on. There's no incentive to really work to be better, because the unions take, the bureaucracy of that doesn't encourage you to be better at what you're doing. So there's my 2 cents on all that.
Well, jumping across the pond for a minute.
Well, wait a second. Now, Eileen's a professional school teacher here. We've been talking about teacher issues. I'd like to hear what she thinks about being forced to promote everybody.
So it's like the teacher unions and the administration have to be hand in hand right now because of the legislature to not suspend kids, to pass kids on. So it's like people will reach out to the union and they don't get a lot of help. So it's like one hand feeds the other at this point, and it's sad. Because at the end of the day, it's the kid that's not passing. It's the kid that's failing. But John, I wanted to ask you, do you know how many of the departments the Lowell City Hall are protected by unions? Are all departments at City Hall protected by different unions, or is it only police, firefighter?
My takeaway from the city unions, everybody who works for the city is in a union, even management. But let me just back up a little bit, Eileen. How do you feel about promoting a kid who can't read?
I feel like that's all it has been for the past 10 to 12 years.
Then why do teachers do it?
Because if they don't do what administration says, they could lose their job.
Won't the union protect them?
Nope. Because the union plays all unions kind of play this very dicey role with administration, where they know that like I said, one hand almost feeds the other with all of this. And it comes down to what the state legislature and the federal legislature has created. So the union's hands are tied almost as much as administration hands are.
No, they're not.
So
They're not. Their hands are not tied. Their hands are no tied. I don't see them being tied at all. But I'll listen to you, please.
Well, then I don't think any union is doing what we pay every paycheck for them to do. I think it's a way for teachers to lose a lot of money being forced to have to pay to be in the teachers union, because we're essentially not getting protection appropriately, to use our education appropriately, and to use our skills appropriately for our students. So I guess it is all falling down on itself.
Thank you for your comment. Back to Cliff.
Okay. So, over in the UK, the rumor is that the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, is stepping down, but he's doing it on his own time, his own schedule. I kind of thought Keir Starmer has been a disaster as a Prime Minister, but that's just me. There was a big, peaceful demonstration in London over the weekend, Unite the Kingdom, organized by a activist on the right, Tommy Robinson. 60,000 people turned out. So the left is getting pushed back in a lot of different places. Does anybody have any thoughts on the UK and those left-wing wackos and Tommy Robinson? And
Well, they got what they voted in. They got what they voted for. They were bamboozled by this guy, and he's lackluster. And at least in the UK, they fall on their own sword. In the USA, absolutely not. I mean, God bless him. Poor Joe Biden. To let him continue to be president, and the Democratic media just thinks it was a fine idea, and Kamala Harris should be president.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a shame. I mean, they can call. See, like, I'll give you an example. They just elected the governor for Virginia. She gave the big song and dance, and now, as soon as she got in, she went right full left wing. And now that, the Democrats are going crazy because their own Supreme Court has said, no, what you did was illegal to redistrict. Well, heaven forbid that they got to follow the rule of law. And in England, at least, obviously Starmer has lost a lot of different members of parliament. Their party has lost in a bunch of elections. They could call for an election, this year and vote him out, or, if his party doesn't have their majority. So they can change things a lot quicker if they have to.
A lot of puzzle parts have to come together to do that, Mike.
No, I understand that, but they can do it. And it's not any different. I talked to my son in New Zealand. When I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the government there, and he says it's the same thing over there with the way they are with the liberals and that. So it's not unique. Unfortunately, it's not unique to England or New Zealand. There's all over the place. We have uninformed voters, and part of that is in our country we have uninformed voters because they're busy living their lives. I'm not saying that they, it takes time and it takes effort to see what's going on. And most people are like, I just want to live my life, go and do things with my family, go to the beach or go to the movies or go out to dinner and take my kid to the soccer game. I don't want to deal with that. The problem, unfortunately, with that is if you're not paying attention, you get what happened in Virginia now. And now the people are stuck with that person for 4 years and the policies that are going to ruin that state. So we had it with Biden too. We had it with him. So until people start putting more effort in, I don't see any change. And this isn't any different than the early 1900s in the United States, when you had, Hearst Publishing, and you had all the other things going on with the media there too. It takes an effort for people, and they have to really put some effort in order to see what's going on.
So in England and in New Zealand, Australia, I think Canada, they have what they call a snap election. They have regularly scheduled elections, I think like every 4 years, but the government can call an election in, 90 days or so. It's a snap election, like Starmer could step out onto the front stoop of number 10 Downing and say, we're going to have an election. And it'd be 52-card pickup.
Well, yeah, but the thing with that is he's prime minister. So if the next required election is 2 years from now, and his party's not doing well, he's not going to try to call a snap election, because that's not in his and the party's best interest. So, like John says, there's a lot of things that have to happen. So it's they can do it, like I said, but it's not an easy thing to get done.
No. So, coming back to the United States almost, did you see we're down in Alabama, workers doing routine maintenance on the reservoir dam outside Mobile, Alabama, found a IED at the base of the dam?
Explain to the audience what LMNOP is.
And
LMNOP, I don't know what LMNOP is.
And neither do people. Don't know what the term you just used means either.
IED?
IED, LMNOP, QRS, TUV.
You've never heard the term IED?
Cliff,
all these years? All these dead Americans?
I quit school in the 8th grade. I don't know, Cliff.
So,
I can tell John, since he doesn't know, it's improvised explosive device. So.
Well, why not just say that? Why not just say that, Cliff? Why not just say that? A silly thing to do, just to mislead the audience. John and Cliff's
defense, when you're on the news, they never say improvise explosive device when they're reported in the news. They just say IED. They never say the full term.
I understand, and a lot of the audience doesn't know what the heck they're talking about.
Okay.
So, John, what is an improvised explosive device?
Whatever you want it to be, Cliff, it's a bomb that blows up somehow.
Yeah. So anyway, it was found.
Seems to be homemade.
Yes.
It wasn't made by a company.
So it was found at the base of this reservoir. So probably would be good if water companies everywhere were checking for these kinds of explosives embedded in their system.
Representing Fru, where are you going to get the money for that, Cliff?
Well, I would hope that this would be part of the routine maintenance that they're doing.
Well, in Lowell, all the water you drink out of the Merrimack River comes out of a pipe that's just over the Lowell-Tingsboro line. That's where all the water that comes out of a pipe in Lowell comes from.
Yeah.
So where would you put your IUD there, Cliff, or your explosive device?
Well, where is the water coming from? Is it coming from a dam, or is it coming from an aquifer somewhere in the ground?
It's coming from the Merrimack River.
Well, then I would put my explosive device somewhere near the intake from the Merrimack River. Somewhere out of sight, underwater.
You didn't know Lowell water comes from the Merrimack River?
I assumed it did.
Okay.
But some of the water around here comes from underground, right?
Only out in the towns they have wells. If you had a well, it comes from underground, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Cliff, on Friday you got Belinda Duran's coming.
Excellent. I hope you're polite to her.
I'll leave my rude shirt at home.
That'd be good.
Regina's coming too,
Excellent.
along with Eileen. That's Friday's show.
So, there's a lot going on in Cuba right now, just off our coast. The country's facing potential economic collapse, surge in protests, and the U.S. government's offering $100 million in economic aid.
It's just more money for the communist government that they'll screw the people out of.
I see. So, do we think Cuba's going to collapse, Mike?
Well, something's going to happen, but it all depends on how much the people are willing to want to change in government, because they've been dealing with power outages and other things in Cuba for a long time. I mean, the government has not put money into upgrading things and making things better in Cuba. The only people that have been benefiting in Cuba are the people in charge. And, of course, they have relationships with Russia or even China now. But I don't see Russia and China coming in to help them out. I don't see that at all. So it's, right now, if you have no power and you can't have stuff, electricity for food storage and other things like that, there's going to be pressure put on eventually. It's how long are they willing to tolerate it, and how long is the U.S. willing to keep things from them getting anything? Because when the U.S. did Venezuela, that cut off a big issue with Cuba for support. So will Russia or China come in to try to help them now? I doubt it. Russia's got enough going on with Ukraine now, so they're not going to be doing anything. And I doubt China's going to come over because they've got other things they're dealing with.
China wants hands off because of the Taiwan issue. I'm going to read this comment from the audience, if I can move it over there. There we go, okay. Just like when the media never says that President Trump said peacefully and patriotically protest. Interesting point. Back to Cliff.
Okay. So, Cuba's sitting out there on the horizon as a problem. I saw where 42% of Democrats think the Butler assassination attempt on Trump was staged. Well, that would have involved getting the Secret Service to participate in the staging, I would think. I mean, I would hope they wouldn't try and stage it by trying to shoot Trump in the ear. That is awfully risky, but 42% think that it was staged? That seems...
Cliff, it's the Democratic media. You can't believe them anymore. I mean, did you see any of the wonderful things that Trump did in China on Channel 5? On Channel 4?
I don't watch those channels.
Channel 10? We didn't see it. It's the Democratic media. They're not going to make Trump look good. And the people taking your poll, I'm going to guess, are the people like ABC, CBS, NBC. So I don't trust the results of their poll.
Eileen, have you ever run into anyone who thought that Butler was staged?
I think the only time I've heard of that is through you, from you guys. I've heard it a couple of times mentioned on the show. But that's about it. I mean, you would think that if Butler was staged, then were the rest of them staged? I don't know. But I forget who, I think it was Anthony Late who was here on that Friday when you mentioned that and said, remember in Pennsylvania that there was somebody who lost their life, and it was it was a firefighter, right? Yeah. So I don't understand how that could be staged at the same time.
Yeah.
Some people think 9/11 was an inside job. That's a comment from the audience.
You mentioned the April shooting, the Correspondents' Dinner. 1 in 4 Americans think that the April shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was staged.
Same malarkey, Cliff. I don't know where you're getting your results from. Why are you wasting the showtime on these crazy crackpots?
Well,
People are always looking for conspiracies because they always think somebody's behind it. There's some deep power. So I mean, it is reported in the news that people think like this, and they take these surveys, polls, whatever, to use it to their advantage, and to get a certain narrative they want in the news. So you can't trust everything, from these polls and what kind of questions they're asking people. Because people, a lot of times, they just answer quickly. They don't think before they answer. So they don't think about it for a second and then say, well, yes, no. They just do it and they answer right away.
Mike, I think that the media is corrupt. It's all about ratings, trying to sell their stuff. When I listened, I have an app on my phone that listens to radio stations all around the country. And if iHeart owns the station, it seems to me there's more ad content than news content. It's a pretty sad state of affairs. Back over to Cliff.
Well, just to add on to that, John, the media being corrupt is not new. It's been corrupt for over 100 years. I mean, it's just that now you have so much more and instant access to everything, where before it was newspapers, and radio. So it's just evolved, but there's always been corruption.
Well, my point is, Mike, they're losing their juice. The car advertisers aren't buying the ads like they used to. The food companies aren't, whether it's
Right.
Burger King or whoever it might be, they're not buying the ads like they used to. And because they know the TV stations don't have the audience they once did. The kids don't watch.
No, you're right. They don't watch those. They're streaming and stuff. So, I mean, if you go to, even Prime now has gone, where they're going to advertising now, you can do Prime without paying as long as you're willing to watch the ads. So they've gotten smart, Prime has, and the companies are going to probably put more money in there with ads because people watch that streaming service like Prime.
Good point. Comment from the audience. Don't forget about climate change. That's a good point from this guy. It's a shell game. It's smoke and mirrors. It's to take the magnification off of the war in Iraq. Don't forget climate change and the green agenda, another shell game. Back to you, Cliff.
yeah. Anyway, our U.S. Senate voted voice vote unanimously to suspend their pay during government shutdowns. It's not that they won't get paid, but it goes into an escrow account if they don't get it until the government is functioning again.
Well, I have a question. I read that, Cliff. So, yeah, they don't get paid, but what about their staff? What about their stipends? So, because our stipends aren't, quote, I'm sure stipends are not part of their pay. So they get stipends for housing, they get stipends for clothing, they get stipends, for in their budget for food. So if they don't have to worry about any of that, how much are they going to be affected? It's another shell game, like John said. It's kind of a shell game because it looks good when you put it in the news. Hey, we're not going to take any pay, but you got to look. It's like onions. You got to peel back the layers and see really how much are they being affected. If they lost all their funding, for housing, pay, all that stuff, like people in a job would lose, then you might see a lot more energy to get things done.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I saw this as a step forward, though.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's also, again, they do this because it looks good in the news, but how much are they suffering? Because don't forget, a lot of them, they've got money in their campaign election funds, they've got donors, they've got all kinds of other access to resources that regular people would not have. Like the people that are working for TSA or any of that stuff. They don't, those people don't have the resources that the senators have.
Hey, Cliff, before we run out of time, did you see the air show crash in Idaho?
No.
Okay, turn the page.
All right. So, Eileen, does the school committee meet this week?
Yes, we meet this week on Wednesday. Yep, Dominic put a motion on so that it had to do with dress code and not wearing short sleeve shirts or anything like that in these hot months, and he's already got a lot of pushback on it. I know that.
Speaking of dress code, starting next week, wear anything. It's summertime dress code.
Okay.
But no show next Monday, right?
No donuts.
No show next Monday.
No show next Monday. No donuts either.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the following Monday if I'll be available or not because of we're going to be up in New York traveling. So I'll let everybody know on that.
Okay, Mike. Hope you have a good trip. Are you driving or flying?
No, we're driving up because we're going to spend like 10 days up there. We're going up to Canada to see people and then go see my brother and my sister. We're going, a friend of mine, he's turning 70. There's a surprise birthday party for him. And we're going to see him too.
Well, Mike, I think if you're going to drive to Canada from Florida, I think you should stop over to a Lowe's, buy a roll of duct tape, and put that over your mouth because it's grounds for separation in every state you drive through.
I'll keep that in mind. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So, as far as I know, people in Canada still like me coming up there, and as far as I know, they don't have a problem with us going back to the U.S. So,
being stuck in the car for like 25 or 50 hours, I'll tell you, just somebody needs duct tape.
Yeah, no, it's.
What about books on tape?
Kathy usually dozes and takes a nap while she's in the car. I do most of the driving, so there's not an issue there. And actually, we stop part way up. We don't go up in one day, John. It's only 19 hours, to get there where we're going. So it's not quite that far.
John, don't you listen to books while you're driving?
I listen to my wife while I'm driving. How about you?
No.
We listen to books.
No, Kathy likes to take naps and that, so it's pretty quiet. So I don't have to deal. there's no problem there, John. And we turn on music, listen to music on the way up and back, and we stop when we have to, and it seems to go pretty good.
Well, when Ellen and I are motoring in her car, the car has satellite radio, so we listen to a radio station that's in Salisbury, Mass, and they play oldies all day long with no commercials. And
we have Sirius radio, so we can listen too. Yes.
Good stuff.
John,
Hi, Cliff.
explain the economics of that to me, will you?
The economics? Satellite
Yeah.
radio works everywhere. It's great stuff.
No. This station that has no advertisements.
Yeah, they're a public access TV station in Salisbury. And
Public access.
And they bought I don't know how they picked up this radio station, Cool 94.1. And some of my friends used to work there or volunteer there. And that's what we listen to nationwide.
Okay, so they've got volunteers involved with it, so that helps. Yep.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people like us who operate the radio station. It's pretty cool.
Sure.
Okay, so I think Melanie put in the paper yesterday that according to the Lowell Folk Festival tracker, there's today only 67 days until the 39th Lowell Folk Festival. So she said we should mark our calendars now for the longest running and second largest free folk festival. It kicks off with a parade of flags on Friday, July 24th at 6:15 p.m. and runs through Sunday, July 26th. So the Lowell Folk Festival is pretty interesting. You'll be up and back before that happens, Mike, but otherwise I'd say come on by. It's interesting.
I did look at whether we could work that out to get your way, but it just wasn't going to work out with, we're talking an extra 10, 11 hours of driving time, so.
So up on the screen right now is this radio station listed to Cool. It's 94.1 if you're down in Salisbury. You can listen to it in your regular car. But it's on the internet all the time, and almost there's maybe one ad an hour. Good stuff. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay, Eileen.
Yes.
Do we have an update on the request that the state audit the Lowell High School project?
Not that I've heard of yet, no.
No. So, it's an expensive project, there's no doubt about that.
When are they supposedly going to be done with that project? Because I know it's been delayed and had all kinds of things going on with it. Do you know when it's going to be, they're supposed to complete it now?
I do not know. We don't really have hard set dates here in Lowell. We just talk a good game.
Well, it's always interesting because they're putting it near me up a new Largo City Hall. They've been working on it. It was supposed to be done in March of last year, and they're finally opening it up next week. And they don't have all the tenants in there like they originally had thought yet. So I just was wondering because our project down here in Largo for the new City Hall is over a year later than the original date.
Yeah. It's scary to think, a lot of projects just get delayed no matter what because of lack of supply. And now, with all the issues with Lowell High, whatever they say, I'm going to tend to double it in my head.
So, Eileen, why does Dominic Lay, why is he against short-sleeve shirts?
I don't know. Maybe I haven't talked to him about that.
Now wait a minute. Now you got to fill me in on this one. So what are you talking about with short sleeve shirts?
All right. So one of our school committee members put a motion in, and I haven't even really got a chance to go through the packet yet. Hold on one second. So let me just quickly open this, because I know I saw it online, and we already had a lot of teachers reaching out to us about the motion. That's the only reason I even knew of it. And we also have a student site council meeting, so we'll find out what's going on in Lowell High, talking about homeless youth. It's the school health clinic. But what his motion exactly states is, request the superintendent to review the staff dress code, particularly for teachers who serve as professionals and role models for hundreds of students, and to consider prohibiting the wearing of t-shirts and shorts during school hours. Now, mind you, most of our buildings do not have proper HVAC and are not properly ventilated. And so, I mean, summer, it always presents a challenge for our teachers. And now, committee member Lay wants us to not wear shorts or short sleeves.
So this is with regard to the teachers, not the students.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with no T-shirts for teachers. I mean, that, you know, you're a professional, but, you know, with no AC, if they wear a nice shirt, a nice golf shirt, or even a regular button-down shirt, and they wear nice shorts, you know, not ones that are cut off or anything like that. Professional shorts, like.
Sorry, we're running out of time, kids. Tomorrow's
Yep.
City Life. Tommy Mobile's taking the day off. Sean McDonough will be here. Francisco Maldonado will be here, and Bob Hoey will be here. Cliff, time to say goodbye.
Goodbye. Today's National Cheese Souffle Day, if you like that. So.
Cheese souffle.
Yes, cheese souffle.
Kids. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Mike, thanks, Eileen.
Bye.
Yeah. Good day. It was a good podcast today. So I'll try to see if I can be involved with one on maybe call in or something, because on the one that's it would be June 1st is a Monday, the next one after Memorial Day. I'll have to see about that. I think we'll be up in Canada then, so I'll let you know. All right?
Well, if it works up there, I'd love to have you, if you can. Enjoy your vacation, Mike.
I'll probably have to call in though on that on my phone. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Have a good one.